This video is about House Perceval, whom I found on my True Ancestry DNA results. The Knight Perceval from Grail Legends is based on this real knight. The Grail Legends were compiled over many years by many different authors, but about 1,000 years ago, Chrétien de Troyes was commissioned by Philip I, Count of Flanders, to compile the Grail Legends, and he died before it was finished. Philip I, Count of Flanders, was fourth cousins with the real Sir Knight Richard de Perceval. I couldn't find any genealogy on Chrétien de Troyes, but we can assume that he was familiar with him. I do a lot of research on wolf clans and werewolves, and I thought it was interesting that his last name is actually Lovell, which means wolf. Sir Richard de Perceval was the commander for King Richard the Lionheart. They were also fourth cousins. Knight Perceval was legendary because he got his leg chopped off while riding a horse in battle, and he survived. Here you have Richard the Lionheart with his coat of arms. Anytime you see the lion in European heraldry, it means that they believe they are descended from the House of Judah and David. Okay, so let's look at the history of House Perceval up to the colonization of New England. This gets into a lot of alternative history. There were actually a lot of prisoners that were shipped from New England that were all races, not just Africans. I go over that stuff more in my other YouTube channel, Hawaiian Heartbreak Her Story. This channel is focusing on mainstream history the way it's presented to us. So in my True Ancestry, they have two historic individuals listed that they say they have the Y DNA haplogroup for. One of those is Richard Perceval from 1550, and he was a Spanish scholar. So the other guy that my True Ancestry has listed is the first Earl of Egmont from 1683. This guy was one of the founders of the colony of Georgia, and he was the president of the Georgia Trustees. Keep this in mind because it makes you kind of wonder who commissioned the Georgia Guidestones. Okay, so this is messed up. The founding of the colony of Georgia was to find a place for people in debtors' prisons, which apparently was pretty common in medieval Europe. So they were basically work prisons for poor people. These colonizers, elite, they were trying to say that they were giving the poor a better life while producing and protecting goods for New England. So they were basically just slaves. The Seal of Georgia says, not for self, but for others. So for the first 21 years of the colony of Georgia, none of these trustees ever set foot in America at all except for General Oglethorpe. Alright, so let's get into the DNA of House Perceval. They are haplogroup E1B1B, and I had a handful of matches in my results to this haplogroup. So in the app, they will show you what samples they have that has similar DNA. They say that E1B1B is like an African haplogroup, but as you can see, there's a lot of famous people of European ancestry that have the same haplogroup. And here you can see how they have the first Earl of Egmont and Richard Perceval from 1550 listed as representing House Perceval, and I'm related to both of them on paper, which I will show you. I made this video over a year ago. I have way more samples added, so I'm not sure what percentage I am now. Your percentages are only based on the samples they have in their testing pool, not on your own specific overall ethnicities. So on paper, Sir Knight Richard Perceval is my 25th great uncle. John Perceval, Earl of Egmont, is my 10th cousin 6 times removed. Philip I, Count of Flanders, is my 28th great uncle, and King Richard the Lionheart, King of England, is my 25th great uncle. Thank you for watching my video. Please hit the like, share, and subscribe to help me grow my channel. To read the articles I've written about mainstream and alternative history, you can follow me on Substack at mycrazyfamilytree.substack.com or hawaiianbreakherstory.substack.com. This is Kamaka Pahinui, the dark historian of the Pacific.